Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ananya MK. I am studying in Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering in Department of Information Science and Engineering. Subject name Waste Management. Subject code PETCK10F. Section ICHEF. USN code 23IS1895. Topic Hazardous Waste Treatment. Introduction. Hazardous waste poses to the human health or living organism in a general. They ought to be handled, treated, and managed differently. And this issue is discussed in the present. The various physical, chemical, thermal, and biological treatment to reduce the impact of a hazard waste on a public health and the environment. We will close the unit by explaining some of the techniques for a hazard waste minimization and a pollution prevention and touching upon the prevailing hazard waste management practice in India. Hazardous waste treatment. The various elements of a hazardous waste management such as the generation, storage and the transport, processing and disposal. Processing is mainly done to recover the useful products and prepare to waste for a disposal. But prior to the disposal, hazardous waste needs appropriate treatment depending on the type of a waste. The various options for a hazardous waste treatment can be categorized under the physical, chemical, thermal, and biological treatment. Physical and chemical treatment. Physical and chemical treatment are essential part of most hazardous waste treatment operations. First, filtration and separation. Filtration is a method for separating the solid particles from a solid liquid using a porous medium. The deriving force in a filtration is the pressure gradient caused by a gravity, centrifugal force, vacuum, or a pressure greater than atmospheric pressure. Clarification. In which suspended solid particle less than 100 ppm concentration are removed from all aqueous streams. This is usually accomplished by a depth filtration and cross-flow filtration, and the premier aim is to produce a clear aqueous effluent, which can either be discharged directly or further processed. The suspended solids are concentrated in a reject state. Divided of a slurries of a typical 1% to 30% of a solids by a weight. Here the aim is to concentrate the solids into phase or a solid from a disposal or a further treatment. This is usually accomplished by a cake filtration. The filtration treatment, for example, can be used for a neutralization of a strong acid with a lime or a limestone, or a precipitation of a dissolved heavy metals as a carbonates or a sulfides followed by a settling and thickening of the resulting precipitated solids or a slurry. The slurry can be deviated by a cake filtration, and the effluent from the slating step can be filtered by a depth filtration prior to discharge. Chemical precipitation. This process by which the soluble substance is converted into insoluble form, either by mechanical reaction or by change in the composition of the solvent to diminish the solubility of a substance in it. Settling and or a filtration can be remove the precipitated solids. In the treatment of a hazardous waste, the process has a wide applicable in the removal of a toxic material from aqueous waste by converting them to an insoluble form. This includes a waste containing arsenic, barium, cadmium, chromium, copper, lead, mercury, nickel, selenium, silver, thallium, and zinc. The source of a waste containing a metals are a metal plating and polishing a inorganic pigment, mining, and a electronic industry. Hazardous waste containing a metals are also generated by a cleanup of uncontrolled hazardous waste sites. Example, leachate are contaminated in the groundwater. Chemical oxidation and reduction. In this reaction, the oxidation state of one of the reactant is raised, while that of the other reactant is lowered. When the electrons are removed from an ion, atom, or a molecule, the substance is oxidized, and when electrons are added to the substance, it is reduced. Such a reaction are used in the treatment of a metal wearing waste, sulfides, cyanides, and chromium, and in the treatment of many organic waste such as phenols, pesticides, and sulfur containing the compounds. Since this treatment process involves a chemical reaction, both reactants are generally in a solution. However, in some cases, a solution reacts with a slight soluble solid or a gas. There are many chemicals which are oxidizing agents, but relatively a few of them are used in a waste treatment. Some of the commonly used oxidizing agents are sodium hypochlorite, sodium peroxide, calcium hypochlorite, potassium permanganate, and ozone. Reducing agents are used to treatment of waste containing hexavalent, chromium, mercury, organic metallic compounds, and chelated metals. Some of the compounds used for reducing agent are sulfur dioxide, sodium bicarbonate, etc. In general, chemical treatment costs are highly influenced by the chemical cost. This oxidation and reduction treatment tends to be more suitable for a lower concentration in a waste. Fourth one, solidification and stabilization. In a hazardous waste management, solidification and stabilization is a term normally used to designate a technology employing activities to reduce the mobility of pollutants, thereby making the waste acceptable under the current and land disposal requirements. Solidification and stabilization are the treatment process designed to improve the waste handling and physical characteristics, decrease the surface area across which pollutants can transport or leach, limit the solubility or dextrosity the hazardous constituent. Solidification. This refers to the process in which material are added to the waste to produce a solid. Stabilization. This refers to the process by which waste is converted to more chemical stable from a more form. Chemical fixation. This involves the transformation of a toxic contaminant to new non-toxic compound. Encapsulation. This process involving the complete coating or enclosure of a toxic particle or a waste agglomerant with a new substance. Additive or fifth one, evaporation. Evaporation is defined as a conversion of a liquid from a solution or a solid into a vapor. All of evaporation system requires the transfer of a sufficient heat from heating medium to the process of a fluid to vaporize the volatile solvent. Sixth one, ozonization. Ozone is a relatively unstable gas consisting of 3 oxygen atoms per molecule and is one of the strongest oxidizing agents. Municipal solid waste management 406 km. It can be substituted for a conventional. Oxidation such as chlorine, hydrogen peroxide, potassium permanganate, ozone, and UV radiation have been used to detoxify industrial organic wastes containing aromatic and aliphatic polychlorinated compounds, ketones, and alcohols. Next is the thermal treatment. Incineration can be regarded as either pre-treatment of a hazardous waste prior to final disposal or as a means of valorizing waste by recovering the energy. Pyrolysis. This defined as the chemical decomposition or a change brought about by heating the absence of oxygen. On the basis of the Next, it is biological treatment. On the basis of the fact that hazardous materials are toxic to living beings, it is not uncommon for some of the assume that biological treatment is not possible for a hazardous waste. Land treatment. This waste treatment and a disposal process where